It's a pretty important month for you this month, Taurus. Hi, I'm Dadhichi. It's September 2016. I'm from astrology.com.au, and if you tuned into the introduction that I gave today, I was talking about Mars and Saturn, and I promise I'm not going to talk about it too much more, but leading up to that exact conjunction last week, we saw the devastating effects of Mars and Saturn, which are usually connected with earthquakes, apart from the personal side of things, which is that immense level of frustration that you may have been feeling, especially because it occurred and is still somewhat occurring in your 8th house. 8th house is a very secretive sort of house which dredges up all of the deep emotional elements of your relationships. It has to do with shared resources, the money that we share with other people. And that could have been frustrating, dealing with people who may not have the same financial views and philosophies as yourself, the same value system too. So it's not just money, it has to do with what we value. But the nice thing is that that planetary conjunction is shifting, although there are some intense, what we call square aspects occurring from your 5th house of love affairs, creativity and relationships, and also to do with children. So the new moon occurs on the 1st of the month, and it's going to really trigger that level of creativity with yourself, getting in touch with your inner child, which I often talk about here. If some of you are regular visitors, you know that is one of my key phrases, getting in touch with your inner child and being able to free yourself from this intellectual chatter, because the greater the level of creativity, the quieter the mind becomes. And we also see that service, which I also touched on in my introduction today, is more significant for you than some of the other signs, because your ruling planet, Venus, is moving right now in that 6th house of Libra. So it's a great opportunity for you to amalgamate this area of work, service and creativity, and somehow think about what it is you want to do in that area to enhance your life, especially if you haven't been particularly happy in what you're doing. If you're a parent, you may have to deal with some parenting issues this month, as shown by the new moon in the 5th house. A whole new approach can be taken, and being an eclipse, the energies there are extraordinarily powerful, particularly for your eldest born child. That can release an immense amount of energy for good or for other. Normally the 5th house is quite a good place. The triangular houses to the sun sign, your sun sign being Taurus, this 5th house being the sign of Virgo, an earth sign, means that there is a harmonious aspect being formed to the placement of the sun when you were born. So this is good news, and it gives you vitality, energy. And let's not forget you have Mercury and Jupiter also passing through this particular area of the zodiac. So these are lovely positive planets, and they can enhance your search for creativity. For those of you that aren't yet in a relationship, 5th house is a very powerful one, showing that you are focused on meeting someone or finding someone. And the fact that the new moon is taking place there is a pretty good omen that this month at least, if you avail yourself of social opportunities, you may indeed meet someone, connect with someone who's a friend, and develop that relationship a lot further due to your connectedness on a creative level. For your ruling planet Venus, there are a couple of tough aspects leading up to the 11th. We see the square aspect to Pluto. Now that's happening, as I said, from your 6th house. So you could be obsessing about work. You could be very worried or challenged about meeting your deadlines and finishing something, doing your work in a unique way that can win out against your competitors. But you mustn't focus too much on that. The greater opportunity for you, Taurus, is to work on this 5th house, where we see the positive new moon, that eclipse, the conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter. If you take your eye off that, you're going to get caught up in a whole lot of emotional quagmire, as I call it. So you want to keep your emotions clear of that, because the Pluto and the Venus square can indeed cause you quite a bit of angst, and that would appear to be with co-workers, people that you work with, or those that happen to serve you or work for you. For example, if you're hiring people to do work for you, there may be problems associated with that. And as I mentioned earlier, you've still got that 8th house shared resources money thing going on. So maybe not such a great idea to mix your finances with pleasure this month. There's a full moon taking place in the sign of Pisces, and that's excellent for your friendships. The 11th house is ruled by Pisces for you, and the full moon there, ruling your 3rd house of communications, opens the door to reconnect with some of your old friends, people you haven't seen for a while, and that can also be a way for you to offset this really tough, challenging aspect of Venus and some of the other ones, incidentally, which are forming what is called a T-square, Neptune, Saturn, and this eclipse of the Sun and the Moon. So try to slip out of that, short circuit that, don't get bogged down in that this month, because that's going to cause you a lot of grief. The 11th house is going to be a lovely sort of energy being shone on it. That's around the 17th. I forgot to mention also that Mercury, which is the ruler of your 5th house, it also happens to rule your 2nd house of finances, is retrograde this month up until the 20th, where am I here? 22nd, my apologies. So up to that point, it's not a great idea to be, throwing your money around. Just wait a little till the end of the month, till that planet goes direct, and then you're going to be in a better position to understand your financial circumstances as well. That could still also be tied in with the relationship thing that I talked about in your shared resources. So if there's squabbles going on there, it might not be till the last week of the month that you start to see some resolution to that. Take a look at the more in-depth analysis at astrology.com.au. Look forward to seeing you there. And till next month, have a good one, and see you here again as well. Bye for now.